Hi. How are you? Happy belated birthday.
My score was like moderate.
Did you enjoy yourself?
Watching.
Even Karen Collins felt about
Yeah, and you know,
Yeah.
yeah, you know what, I'll give you
Yeah.
my reasons for this.
Oh, that's all right. That was my fault.
Once they hit teenagers, it's like, really, it's only a block. Well,
You know what's really good when you come down Ross to South River, because so many cars are pushing.
I was gonna wear something lighter.
Weird. It's like a truck going in the,
Drive down that way much.
going in the backyard, a heavy truck, it makes a big blast.
Yes.
That means it's just been years. It's like staircases at cathedrals and castles in Europe, you know, they go down
Down.
because they've
Oh,
been
yeah,
out
so
for
that meeting was a disaster.
Okay.
All rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Almighty and everlasting God, who presides over all things in heaven and earth, come and preside over these deliberations so that those that make the decisions may be guided by your wisdom.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the March 27th meeting of City Council. We have a huge, long, extended agenda tonight.
Roll call, Mr. Barrett,
Here.
Mr. Belishko.
Here.
Mr. Marin.
Here.
Mrs. McClay.
Here.
Mr. Brooks.
Here.
Also in attendance is Mayor George Brown, Controller Tony Thomas, Administrator Charlie McCormick, City Attorney Tim Henry, and Administrative Assistant Lisa Sanfilippo. Good evening and welcome to tonight's regular session of council. Please turn off all cell phones. Following are examples of some important council rules. They are not intended to be a complete list. Please adhere as closely as possible to the 5-minute speaker presentation time limit. No persons are allowed to address the council from beyond the rail, except the speaker at the dais who has the floor. Chairperson shall preserve order and decorum and prevent attacks on personalities. Chairperson shall determine all points of order. No person except city officers or representatives shall be permitted within the rail during any meeting without the express permission of council. Council kindly asks that the public please vacate the building within 10 minutes after the meeting adjourns. And finally, when members of the administration are speaking, please stand up and use the microphone.
So we do have an agenda.
Well, we have minutes. You can ask if anybody wants to speak on those.
Right, so we do actually have an agenda with minutes on them. Does anyone want to speak on the minutes? Okay, seeing none, we'll have council presentations.
Let's vote on those.
Oh, sorry.
Motion on the minutes.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Mr. Marin, second by Mr. Belishko. Mr. Barrett?
Yes.
Mr. Belishko?
Yes.
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Mrs. McClay?
Yes.
And Mr. Brooks?
Yes.
Now you can go on.
Okay, council presentations, Councilman Belishko.
Nothing today, Tony. Got everything done.
Councilman Barrett.
I stopped by the bog today, beautiful day, and the amount of work that was going on up there, and I know that it's going to turn out fantastic, so thank you for all you're doing up there. It's really looking good, and everybody's working real hard, and can't wait to see the end result. So, looking forward to it. Thank you. That's all I have, sir.
Thank you. Councilman Marin.
Yes, I got some pictures sent to me today about Stanton Lanes, the condition of it. I've been complaining about this for a while, seems nothing's been done. No cars have been moved, and I don't know if you'd like to see these pictures, pass them along here. Have they gotten in touch with anybody from the city yet? People from church?
Yeah, we did meet with the Reverend and
I'm sorry.
Sorry, Stan, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Are you sure you can hear me, Stan?
Yes.
Am I close enough to you? Okay. Yeah, we did meet with the Reverend, and he assured us he's going to contact the owner of the cars, have them removed.
All right, and get some of that graffiti cleaned up as well?
And as a matter of fact, today, in our senior staff meeting, I asked the health department, who has code enforcement, to Mr. Radulski to start sending out the letters about, removing the graffiti. As we stated before, if there's graffiti on a building, it's up to the business or the building owner to remove it. okay? It's not up to the city.
Okay.
So if it's a business or a building owner has to remove it, those letters are going to be going out shortly, so they have to remove it or, face the consequences of fines and/or we remove it and then request payment for the cost of removal. So that's in the works as of
Have we
today.
done this?
Okay, you understand, the weather's just breaking down.
The generic.
Yeah, we wanted to wait until the nice weather because, when we put the notification out,
Yeah, I won't mention
it was
it.
20,
Because it would be on the
15-degree weather. So now, it's nice enough,
beginning of April
that
agenda.
they can go out and start removing it. So that is in the works.
Okay, and
your
also,
request.
one other question, Hubert Park, I noticed you started taking the fence down, and you're going to demolish the concession stand. When will that be complete?
Fine Arts is Thursday, 18, 19, and 20th, I think.
We're waiting on a piece of equipment that Stell's going to lend to the city, that we need it because it's a little larger than the equipment that we have. So they're presently working under the bridge that runs under, New Frederick, to clear the debris underneath both of the bridges there. Once they finish with that, one of their pieces of equipment that they're going to use to bring it down.
And also, there's a few monuments there, hopefully we can preserve them.
We're going to save those, and then we're going to fix it up like we've done
Thank you.
across the city with, a little nicer look.
That'll be nice, okay, thank you, that's all I have for today.
Councilwoman McClay.
Yep. Penn Ave Park, or Francis Slocum Park as it's called, on Pennsylvania Ave. So when it gets warmer, the parking there is insane. It's a handicap spot, and it also has a sign for DPW so that they can get into that park. Is that one of those spots that we could possibly look to put that meter stick? Because they park in the grass, it's insane. You have to walk out onto the street to actually get around them. Send you an email, perfect. And then, anything on the bridge? The North Washington Street Bridge? Nothing?
since we talked about it.
And thank
It
you.
is in the works, as I mentioned,
Okay.
and actually, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
2 feet from you. Anyway, as I said, I did speak to Congressman Bresnahan about it because it's a federal project, and we don't have control on it. We do have limitations and things that we have to meet as far as qualifying for the funds. It's a federal project. Spoke to Congressman Bresnahan twice about it. He's aware of it, and as I said, hopefully it'll be done as soon as possible. I want to push that, as you know, like everybody else does, and get it done. It's been too long, way too long.
And the Brookside project, that is almost complete?
I have to give you an update on that because it's in the works, but I can't give you a date yet, okay?
Okay.
I would say within the next several months.
Okay,
Next few months, let me put that.
perfect.
Okay, which is going to be great. It's a $1.5 million project to help flood protection that area.
I think that's it, I'm good. And thank you for all the cleanup, Charlie. All of that stuff was taken care of from Tuesday, and the Sabre Room cleaned up for now.
For now.
Yeah. I'm optimistic. I'm good.
Good, thank you. You asked us for 2 streets per district? You want me to do it in email? Okay. All right, well, Stan and I are going to share one together, so I'm going to give you 2.5, and he'll give you 2.
We get an alley in return.
Well, then that counts for your streets.
Yeah, I was going to say, what is it about 2 and 2 equals 5?
Right.
All right.
20 your streets, Dan.
Hey, last time I gave 18. And a lot of them, they're actually looking pretty good. Could I have an update about the South Valley Land Bank? I did notice at 64 West Ross Street that there was a sign in the empty lot for it to be purchased. And I went online to see what's going on about the land bank. I noticed that the West Ross is only zoned for a single-family house. And I think we had about maybe 8 or 9 lots that we have in the city around. Just a discussion about, here's my thoughts coming. The last couple of days I've been teaching 3rd grade classes at all the elementary schools, and I ask a question about who's new here, because I have this book about welcoming new people to Wilkes-Barre. About a quarter of every class is brand new, which makes you think about affordable housing and where all these people living and moving in. And they did a quick little research of what Philadelphia is doing. And Philadelphia's land bank is enormous, and they're about to float get a load of this, $800 million bond. Now, I know our budget's only $54 million, but they're going to float $800 million because they have 30,000 parcels of land of which they are going to do affordable housing. But it makes me think if we only have a lot to a single-family home, that's not really good for affordable housing. If we can think about how, so for example, at Brown Street, and there's one at Brown and I think Poplar, I think it was a double block that was there. You know, a fiveplex, a fourplex, something that's different that could alleviate the problem of affordable housing. So if you know anything new about the land bank or what's in the works?
Yeah, Tony, there's 8 properties, you're right, that the Lower South Valley Land Bank had purchased. And the people have been very aggressive about purchasing these from the land bank. I don't want to speak for them because, you know, I shouldn't. But we're very happy with the fact that for the first time, we purchased 8 properties that were on the delinquent tax rolls for years.
Right.
Okay, there are plans for people to purchase all 8 of them. One of them is a large lot on Franklin Street, South Franklin Street, if you remember, where we had to tear down 3 double blocks or 6 properties. So there's plans for a purchaser to put housing units on that vacant lot, which is something I think that you'll be happy about seeing. Now, I have a question for you. You spoke to 3rd graders?
Yes.
8-year-old.
8 and 9-year-olds. Yeah.
Did they ask you the questions I normally get?
You had all kinds of questions.
When I speak to 5th graders, I always get the same questions. Do you live in a mansion? Are you rich?
Right.
Do you drive a limousine? No, I drive a 2008 Dodge Avenger. Anyway, it's fun. It really is. And
Yeah.
I speak to 5th graders all the time, and I get the same questions. So.
The school is overcrowded. I mean, each one of these classes with anywhere from 26 to 31 kids. That's a lot. And I have to give it to these teachers. I'm exhausted right now, and I'm not really a teacher. I just spent a day there, and then on Tuesday, I don't know how these elementary school teachers do this day in and day out. And
Well, I taught for 4 years, and I got kindergarten, so you can imagine how.
yeah.
I have a question to follow up to his question. On the land bank, so the people who purchase the land, do they have to guarantee that it's going to be affordable housing? Or can they put up whatever they want and charge whatever they want?
No, it's their property, but it goes back on the tax rolls.
Yeah.
The nice thing is, a lot of these properties we're not getting taxes on.
Right.
Okay? But once they go on in private ownership, we start getting the revenue. Now, there are other plans for other properties too, but like I said, I don't speak for the land bank. Okay?
Right.
But I suggest, if you want, anybody can request information from the land bank and just write them, but I don't want to speak for them.
Right.
Okay?
Thank you.
Very good. Okay. Public discussion. John Skowski. You came in first. We go by order. Come on up. We go by order of how they signed in.
John Toski, Almond Lane. I just want to know why we ripped down the fences at Mayflower. Like, I get the building probably needs to come down, but like, I don't know. There were some people that used that, so like, I know it's not supposed to be used as a dog park, but people were using it. I'm sure you're going to get some complaints at some point. I mean, I had people calling me and complaining about it, so I'm sure there's more than just a few people that are reaching out to me. So I just want some kind of explanation on why we did that.
So I also had someone reach out to me this morning, and then I'm going to punt it to Stan. You know the information, so.
I don't know I know I did put a request in about the concession stand, the condition it was in, and then I was told they were going to repurpose the fence at the bog. I mean, that's the only answers that I have.
So is that to save money, I guess, moving the fence to the bog? Is that?
And since it wasn't in use, I mean, he'll have the answer.
The city
hopefully.
has numerous uses. I won't say that every piece of fencing there would go down to the bog because we have new fencing involved. I'm not that involved in the layout down in the bog. There's certainly more than ample area that we're trying to cut off traffic that cuts across and destroys the area there. So there's a reuse that we can use with the fence. That park, the building's been vandalized any number of times. It's just attractive nuisance for liability purposes. So our plan is to just open it up. Nobody's used it for baseball for years and years. Open it up, green space, fix up the marker in the area in front, and let the public have it.
Okay, it's green space.
Yeah.
Got it. Good.
Yeah, hopefully, kids be able to play some, football there. There's nowhere to really hang out anymore,
There's some soccer, a little
Soccer.
bit more use. And kids tend to use an open field anymore more than some old baseball field that's sitting there. They just don't use them for athletic stuff.
Okay, do you have any plans of putting soccer nets or something in there, just so it's used, because it'll get used? That's the most...
That's
Yeah.
a possibility. We're just trying to get the physical layout, see what it looks like, see how it grows in, what we have to do, and any type of use like that is open. It's a public park.
Yeah, I'm just saying, that park, I drive by that all the time. It's very rarely empty, and it's usually 20, 30 kids at least in it. It's always packed.
At least it'll be a blank canvas now. We could start fresh there, I agree. It needs to be used.
Yeah, but put something in
Something, yeah, something for the kids. I agree.
Angel Mathis.
What you want? Let's see what this is. Read things.
It's a lot.
I know.
Okay, the first thing that I have is parking enforcement. What I've noticed is that lately, you're starting to see more cars on the sidewalks.
Oh, yes.
Like really more cars on the sidewalks. And particularly where the former Oosterhout Library was, there's a Connecticut plated car that parks there all day long. And then there's a few others within walking area. Now, my other question is a little more serious because I was watching the news today and I saw how the Trump administration plans to cut $12 billion out of the state healths. So my question is, with the health department, do we receive any federal funding with the city's health department? And two, if we do, are there arrangements being made to either, urge the governor to sue on the health department's behalf to stop the cutting of funds? And then two, with three, with the lack of funding, if the cuts do go through, there will be an abundance of people without health care. How would the city actually help alleviate that issue? And then the third thing is, I read that Luzerne County has actually is opening a complaint line about absentee landlords. Would the city ever choose to follow in that direction?
We'll go in back order. So a complaint line for landlords kind of exists with us already. We get that constantly. So I saw that where Councilman Greg Wilovich wanted an online form. We actually do have an online form already for all kinds of complaints. There's a drop-down box of what you're complaining about, and people call us constantly about those kind of things. So it's very easy to complain personally to us on our telephones. Our numbers are all,
Oh, no, that's easy to complain, but you don't get any result.
well, sometimes we.
I get-
we
Well,
get
no,
results.
I'm saying this from being on the receiving end of all of this.
Right.
Yeah, you don't get the result you expect to get.
As far as Health Department, you have any comments about Health Department, Mr. Mayor? What was the first one again? Oh, parking.
Hi, Angel. We do get funds that are funneled down from the federal government to the state government to the city. But I just want to say this, and I sent a report out, a state of the city, and in that report actually shows everything that the health department does for the residents, the business owners, the people that visit the city. And it's going to be put online so you'll be able to reference it. It's an amazing amount of things that health department does for the city residents.
It is.
And they do it with the funding that they get, okay? They do an amazing job. And I want to state that so that everybody understands it. They are doing more than people realize with the funding that they do receive. So, yes, we do get federal, funneled down to state, funneled down to the city. Okay. As far as the parking on the street, the sidewalk, we do have parking enforcement that takes care of that. And I'll mention that to the manager, Rob Sliker. But if you also see anything else like that, you can just give us a call.
Oh, I know, I do. I know Rob. I know Rob very well.
The lady sitting here, Lisa.
I know Lisa and I know Kathy.
You can call Lisa.
I'm just trying not to put more on Lisa's plate than what she
that's
already
okay.
has.
Lisa doesn't mind getting the calls, right, Lisa?
No, not at all.
See?
Sir.
No, seriously, just call Lisa with anything like that. We're happy to pass it on to Rob Schleicher, and then we'll get somebody down, we'll ticket them, and we've been, ticketing and booting cars, so they're doing a great job, too. Okay?
Angel, do you have one of these? It's out.
Yeah, I have one of those.
Yeah, there's 40 different programs.
No, I do.
Health Department
That's
does.
my concern,
Okay.
is that it won't be funded.
Yeah, I share that concern as well. Sam Troy.
Yes, I rather perturbed by the fact, I just can't believe that there's no agenda with the city's problems. And when you go around asking individual councilmen, it seems pathetic that nobody can see that there are any problems and how we should address them. So I thought I might bring up a few last time I did this, I didn't get much of a response. But first, let me just comment. This proposed UGI natural gas hike, I have not seen anything to the effect you, Mayor Brown, or anybody on council has issued a formal protest. And you're probably saying to yourself, well, what good can we do? Well, it could do something. I don't think the hearing has come up yet, right? Has the city formally issued some sort of protest this is going to impact residents very adversely, obviously, especially the ones who are struggling. So the city of Scranton has formally come across, and other, as far as I know, municipalities have done so, not everyone, a few, and state representatives are supposed to be Mr. Pashinsky and so forth. And of course, it's going to cost the city more too for its own heat. So I think something's got to be done to try to blunt this thing. The strategy by all these utility companies. I don't have to explain it to you, Mayor. They'd ask for 12%, and the PUC, PUC grants them half or 8% or something, and they'll settle for that. So we end up getting the shaft either way. But I suppose I should use up my time before you want to address that now. Or, I want to just also say I have two other important issues to address. One of them is an issue I brought up with Mr. Henry, the potential expansion of the Homestead Act for the city to adopt that act so that citizens who own their property can find some extra form of tax relief. Now, you're going to sit there on your standards and brag that you haven't raised taxes, and that's great. I'm not saying it's not. But this city has a 3% wage tax. The taxes are becoming, and even though they haven't gone up, we've been victimized by inflation. People's wages are technically lower. A lot of people are struggling. And I just talked to the solicitor of the Wilkes-Barre Area School Board. They expanded, if you would say, the parameters of that, where people now get more of an exemption who are eligible for the Homestead Act, so that more of their property tax is eligible for tax relief. So why is the city reluctant to do so? It doesn't cost them a dime. It does not cost the school board a dime. So why can't the city, is it something because I promote it? I guess that's the reason to be against it. Maybe that's the effect, because I don't understand it. It's not going to cost the city a dime. It'll help people out because you yourself don't want to initiate any tax relief, Mr. Brown. You don't want to give senior citizens the extra 1% or give them an extra 30 days or possibly lower, to cut expenses to the point where you can lower taxes a little bit to give us some relief. So this is at least one avenue, though you won't have to do any of that. I want to also address one important issue, also addressed to Mike Belesko, who sits on the WVSA board in my remaining time. The more I dig into this issue, the more disturbing it becomes. And if you can you know, I get the usual answers in defense of the fact. I don't think, as far as I know, Mike, and I'm not attacking you personally by any means, but you and our other two representatives have done nothing to try to mitigate this stormwater fee. I can't call it a tax because they're not a taxing body. Whereby the city gets, what is it, $100 or $200,000 back, supposedly to do projects, to perform projects that mitigate the stormwater runoff in order to clean up the Susquehanna River and, in fact, to clean up the Chesapeake Bay. I talked to Riley, isn't it, Andy Riley or Dave Riley, the executive director of the WVSA, and I talked to Sam Gusto, who's the chairman of the board there. Now they've claimed that they've done a lot, you know, to mitigate the flow. The city gets some revenue from the WVSA for its own projects to do that. So is a $50 sewer fee necessary if you're getting money back from the WVSA? Can't you eliminate that $50 sewer fee at least? Because you're getting like $200,000. See, my time is almost up here. $200,000, if I'm not mistaken, comes into the city's budget to do stormwater projects. You're also getting $50 from every family, Mr. Brown. That's not right. It's not ethical. But thank you for listening to me.
Sam, I think you were here, or perhaps you weren't, but...
You speak up, Mr. Brown. I'm sorry I didn't bring my...
No. I'm speaking first.
Tony.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, just one second. I gave a whole lecture talk about UGI rate, and I think both papers had it in there as well. I gave a whole scenario about how I keep on track of 3 of my constituents who only receive a Social Security check and how they got a 2.5% CPI increase, but yet how much the Medicare comes out, and they both were left for like $5 or $7 a piece, and how they couldn't possibly afford any UGI rate. It was in the newspapers, and I've currently are always encouraging people to go to that hearing that is on the 9th. It's next.
There is a hearing set? I'm sorry, I missed.
Right here. It's in City Council next Wednesday or 2 Wednesdays from now, right?
I believe it's the 9th. I don't know
Yeah.
what day of the week it is.
It's the 9th at 1 o'clock. Here is the hearing that the PUC has. So I encourage you to come to that. I will be in attendance as well. Mr. Mayor, sorry.
Sam, getting back to what Councilman's saying, I wrote a letter to the secretary of the PUC. And because of that letter, we're having a hearing on April 9th at 1 o'clock here. So it's something that I wanted to make sure that people have an opportunity to come and talk to the PUC, as hopefully you'll be here, I hope, and express your feelings about the rate hike. So as I said, the meeting is April 9th at 1 o'clock, and it's because I wrote a letter to the PUC director, okay? Just so you know that. Yes, I care about the people, and I care about the rate hike, and that's why I wrote the letter, and that's why they're going to be here for the hearing. Secondly, you have in front of you the phone numbers of 2 people, Rob Bresnahan and Senator Fetterman. They are the people you should call. Their phone numbers are there to talk.
You know as well, excuse me for interrupting, but...
Damn, this is my time. To talk about the rain tax. It's a federal tax. We don't have the authority to stop it. Those gentlemen have the authority to hear what you have to say and to go to Congress and the Senate and say this is something that should be stopped. They are the ones that have the power. I don't have the power. Council doesn't have the power. It's a federal tax. So please, I'm providing you with the phone numbers for those gentlemen to make a phone call. When you get on the phone, you can express exactly how you feel. But that's why I had those printed out for you. I had a feeling you're going to bring it up again, so I wanted to make sure you had the phone numbers.
Great.
Okay?
Mike, did you check with the Wyoming Valley Sanitary Authority to see if they can put that presentation that they brought to council online?
On our line, on our website?
On the Sanitary Authority?
Absolutely, they will. I didn't ask, but I
Okay.
will have them do that.
I think that would be helpful so that
Yeah,
the residents
I
could see what
remember
it's
that day,
being...
and I forgot to tell Sam about it.
Okay, I can send you an
How
email.
about that homestead?
Sam, also, one other thing. I'm sorry, Justin, I cut you off.
Oh, no, I'm good.
Okay. Our sewer system is in bad shape. Okay, there's 620 streets in Wilkes-Barre. Our sewers that run through those streets are over 100 years old. They're the old terracotta lines, okay? Probably around $90 million of repairs has to be done to the sewer lines. And to have a $50 fee is much, much lower than a lot of the surrounding cities. Now, you can shake your head, but I'm telling you the facts. And we haven't raised the fees, and the fact is, we have breakdowns that could cost and have cost $250,000 or more. One break. The lines are 30 feet in the ground, Sam. That's a lot, and they run along similar lines of water and gas company. So what I'm telling you is, we have major, major issues with the current sewer lines that run through the city. Our responsibility, okay? So for not to raise those prices of $50 a year, as you're quoting, saying you want a break, it's amazing that we haven't raised the prices because it's very, very low to some of the cities in the surrounding area. And I just want you to know that. I'm sure the newspapers, you know, if they feel they can do research and actually see the differences in Wilkes-Barre and the surrounding areas as far as the fees. So, Sam, we just had a major break on Horton Street, okay? We had other breaks, and they are very, very costly that the public may not even know about, but they cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to repair them. And for a $50 fee, we're just happy that we're able to make those repairs that are needed. But I'm telling you, the lines are very old and they're in need of a lot of work.
Good.
How about the,
All your questions.
Thank you, Mr. Troy.
can I add something to that, or
No. Tom Gekatek? Hi,
getting
Tom.
more like an autocracy?
Sam, before you forget, your cell phone's on the floor.
Hi, I'm Tommy Gagatek. I'd just like to mention, I was reading that article in the paper today that Jessica was involved with holding up the study on that traffic control on St. Clair Street. I lived in Wilkes-Barre a long time. I don't know where that street is at, but that doesn't matter. But my question is concerning that it seems like this traffic committee is behind a lot of these things that are happening with this and other things. And I read somewhere that Jay Delaney and Jessica was on that committee at one time. Is that all city officials that get on that traffic committee, or can anybody? I don't know anything about it. I just started coming to these meetings. I'm trying to be more of an informed citizen. And nothing was mentioned today about this traffic committee and what's going on with this man who was here the last time had this problem. Whatever the hell his name is, I got it written down here somewhere. But anyway, is that being expedited, or that's on hold also? Traffic is a problem. Now we got the summertime. Then the other thing that I have on my agenda that I wrote on there is the traffic flow with these here people with the e-bikes and these here scooters, whatever the hell they are. They ride these scooters all over, zip around in traffic. There any control on these? No. They go up on sidewalks, they could hit people. I was at Public Square today going to the anthracite to see my friend Anne Marie, who was sick, who you probably know. And zipped right by me. I was going to walk over the curb and get a schedule, and geez, here we go again. But that's just one issue. And then people parking wherever they feel like it, especially people that aren't familiar with the Wilkes-Barre way of life. You know, park anywhere they want. Like today, I'm coming from the Odyssey Fitness Center, going up South Street, coming home after I took the shortcut. And there's a sign right there, no parking this side of the street. And there's somebody with their 4Bs on, parked on the wrong side of the street, going to visit a friend. That do that all the time. These are people that come from another area here. That's another one of the issues. And why is there only 5 minutes to speak? That's another thing. I mean, that seems like if people have things on their mind, like maybe Sam has a lot of things to say a lot of times, and the fellow from the towing service, whatever. You know, sometimes people have things to say and you might get nervous, and I don't get nervous easy, so that's not my problem. But I'm just looking out for some of the situations to alleviate some of these things. Now, the other thing I'd like to say, I could hear myself real good when you got an open session. When you people are speaking behind the desk there, I could hardly hear anything. Then all of a sudden you could hear more. I was going to speak up, but I figured I'd be out of line.
You can hear us, right?
I could hear real good now, but earlier when you guys are stating what was going on and what your agenda was, we were looking at each other, and you can't hardly hear anything. I mean, maybe that's a problem too, maybe not. But anyway, they're the things on my mind. But some of the things that are mostly is these people doing the wrong things. And another thing, these people are still doing the wrong things with garbage collection. They drive around everywhere, and people are putting their garbage out 1-2 days in advance, and then they get a windy day, it lays on the street. We addressed this before. Can't control everything. Then maybe put a lid on things, and people don't know what's going on or don't care. And that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
As far as individual citizens sitting on the traffic committee, yes, there's normal, regular Wilkes-Barre citizens. If you want to serve on any committee, the city has, I believe it's 25, 26 different committees. Do you have access to the internet? You can see all the different committees.
Okay.
See who's on every one of those committees, when their term expires. There's an application if you want to be on one of those committees. You can choose what your interest may be. You can fill it out. You give it to the clerk or to the mayor's office, and the mayor makes the recommendations.
I was just curious of that. I just thought of one more thing. I'm looking at the mayor right now. Going back a number of years ago.
Tom, it's
My
back
time's
and
up.
forth. Yeah, time's up. Let me go through we just addressed the issues that you bring up.
Okay.
E-bikes, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe e-bikes have to use the same, abide by the same traffic laws as a motorcycle. I believe so, because they're powered by.
They should.
Pretty sure they are.
I don't know that I've never looked into that.
Would you know off the top of your head, Charlie, about e-bikes, when do they have to abide by the same traffic laws as?
And they don't have license plates on them, so it could be a regular.
I'm sorry, Tom, it's not a back and forth thing, I think?
I wouldn't know that.
Okay, I'm pretty sure, but we can find out for you. Traffic study, you want to talk about that?
Right, so I'm no longer on the traffic committee. When I went on to council, I did step down because I didn't want the conflict. So just so you know, I haven't been on that since I've been on council. I did stop the stop sign because when reviewing the traffic committee minutes from September, which I was not on the traffic committee, they had said they were going to do a speed study. They were going to paint lines and do a speed study, the police department, where I don't know if that was done. But also in the past, what we've done is we would send it back to the traffic committee and ask them to do a feasibility study. So this way, we're not just putting random stop signs everywhere that somebody wants a stop sign. So until all of our resources have been exhausted, council is not going to put it on their agenda for a stop sign.
And Tom, as far as parking enforcement, you have the city calendar?
Yeah, I got it here.
There's a number there for parking enforcement. I call it all the time. They come right out, and they will ticket the person or correct that problem. Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, Chairman, maybe City Council might want to consider looking at a possible ordinance for these bicycles. If it doesn't fall along the lines of motorcycles, maybe you could create an ordinance that specifically addresses these bikes. Now, I did want to tell you one more thing. I'm very proud of this. We have police officers on bicycles now. There's 6. We're buying 2 more. So what we're going to have is 8 officers out in the city, okay, in different parts of the city. And you're going to see them. They're going to be very visible. And so they might be able to help address some of the issues you're talking about, okay? If it's an unsafe situation, these officers are well-trained, and they're going to be actually very visible so that everyone will see them. And it might help to, stop some of the things that you're talking about. But you're going to really see, as the weather opens up now, a very heavy presence of police officers on bicycles, which I think is going to be a big help to the city.
Okay.
I agree. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Bob Kalabowski. We miss you, Bob.
Welcome back.
Welcome home.
Happy birthday, Bob.
Welcome back. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Post was from my birthday in December. I don't
Oh, well.
know how it
Well,
We
happy,
take that- we
happy
take that back.
belated
Happy
birthday
birthday.
because you weren't here, so.
Bob Kalabowski. I'm here to talk about a situation in Wilkes-Barre Township. People have been fighting a 1 million square foot building up they want to put on Johnson Street. And I have brought to the council up there, it's going to affect Wilkes-Barre because Route 309 all the way down to past Monday Street, it's actually a death trap. I think there's been like 20 or 30 accidents there. And what I brought up to them was,
What about Wilkes-Barre? The ambulance, if something happens in South Wilkes-Barre, Blackman Street is 90% chance they're gonna go that way. Something happens it could be on Northampton Street. It could be on Cole Street, multiple accidents there. And I want the city to inquire about that up there. Where they're supposed to, I asked them to do a traffic study, but I believe Mr. Belushko is on the sanitary authority. From what I remember, when we get heavy rains, the manhole blows off down by the FOP home. The sewer lines can't handle how many people are gonna be in a 1 million square foot building. I brought all this up to him, so maybe Mr. Belushko, maybe you could look into that. It was, the effects it's gonna have, and the mayor said how bad the sewer lines are. Do you know how many people are gonna work in a 1 million square foot building? It's something has to be done, and I was wondering, I talked to a lady from South Wilkes-Barre, and she thanked me for bringing it up, fighting it up there along with the citizens. But the Army Corps of Engineers said this, they keep adding on up there. As you know, I think Goose Island got flooded out in 2021. At the right time, the rain comes enough rain, what's gonna happen to South Wilkes-Barre? The creek can't take anymore. Plus, they're trying to put a 1 million square foot building up out in Ashley. So I don't know can you write a letter? Ask the Army Corps of Engineers the effect that it was having, and they said, oh, the engineer said this, the engineer said that. You don't have to worry. I said, yeah, the engineer said the space shuttle wasn't gonna blow up, but it did. So don't tell me about engineers. But a problem is the sewer, I brought up about the sewer line. I said that the sewer line can't handle anymore. It can't handle anymore. And then you ask these experts that are trying to build this building, how many people are gonna be there? I don't know. How many cars are there? I don't know. How many trucks? We don't know. What's going in there? We don't know. But yet they're trying to put this building in. And a situation that happened, I don't know if you know about the pierogi and gyro escapade. It's a big scandal. The township shut down the gyro guy on 309 and shut down the pierogi guy on Route 309 because they didn't have an HOP, highway occupancy permit. And the planning guy said, if we let somebody pull out of there and they get broadsided, we're gonna get sued. I said, well, what about these cars that are tractor trailers that are gonna be pulling out from Johnson Street? The road can't handle no more. And I was see if you people could write a letter to PennDOT to say, what effect is this gonna have on us? And I've been pounding on it and pounding on it. And I believe since October, there's probably been 30 or 40 accidents at all those intersections. It's a constant thing. But I was glad the mayor brought up about the sewer line, because maybe Mr. Belushko, maybe you could look into that, is how much more could the sewer take? It can't take no more. And I think they have a special line just for the arena. Matter of fact, somebody was killed putting it in. There's a line for the arena. But the sewer line, they can't take no more. But I don't know if you people could help, but I'm bringing it to your attention to get involved. And when I talked to them at the meetings, I said, what about our ambulance services? How are they supposed to get up Blackman Street? How are they supposed to get out of Cole Street? I mean, you go up there at any evening, it's jammed up. There's some people that avoid it, and it does affect our emergency services here. So you think there's anything that you people could do to help? Write a letter to PennDOT and say, what effect is this gonna have? Now, they're supposed to, I asked them at the last council meeting, can you please have another traffic study done? Because the traffic study they had done was done before Aldi's went in, the car wash went in, Wawa went in, the bank went in, and then you got the overflow of Cinema 309. That place gets packed once in a while. So you don't know what could happen there. Sorry.
It's all right.
Thought I'd throw that out there. But it's just too funny. But yeah, we have to get somebody involved. I mean, I was going to meet with Chief Delaney and bring it to his attention, because like I said, the ambulances and stuff, time is of the essence when there's an emergency. And with that road, it's going to be one big mess. So I don't know, is there anything that you think is could possibly do? And Mr. Belushko, I'm asking you, please look into about the sewer line, because we can't handle no more.
Sounds good. Thank you, Bob. I will, I'll write a letter to PennDOT.
Cinema 3.
Tim, I have a question for you on that. So would they be required to do would they have to do a new one based off of the growth that's happened there?
Yeah, I don't know what the township would require for their
So
project.
that would be based on their own zoning ordinances?
I would assume, yeah.
Okay.
State road.
And the same thing, they would be required, because I know when they built the LCTA building, they were required to put a runoff.
Yeah,
So
but
it would be the same
somebody
thing?
has some kind of impact study and stuff like that.
Okay.
But again, I'm not familiar with the township's policies or procedures.
Good luck. Thank you.
All right, well, thanks. Try to do something. I just wanted to bring it to your attention. I'll meet with Chief Delaney and bring it to his attention, too.
Great.
So, thanks, and
They do have.
see you again.
Thank you.
Again,
Thank you.
DP.
All right, any last minute comments from anybody? Good? Mr. Controller, you're good? Good? Everyone good? All right, thank you, everyone. We'll see you at next meeting.
All right, my friend, keep in touch.
So I started looking at e-bikes.
I was looking at